This is what the good white officer said after the fact, right? So he pulls Nichols out the car,
You said the good
right?
white officer.
Yeah, the good white This is what the good white officer said. Oh man, once he pulled him out the car. Okay. And he stated this. The good white officer stated, I hope they stomp his ass after Nichols escaped. Did you hear that? So let me pull this up on the screen real quick because the white officer has finally been identified, right? In the killing or the murder, I should say, of Tyre Nichols. And if I'm
Mm.
not mistaken, his name is Preston Hemphill. And he has some interesting words to say too, that was caught on the body cam. You know, when I watched, because I watched the body cam footage, but I didn't pick up on this. But you know, the news is on top of everything, you know. So let me pull this article up real quick so we can go through it. But why do you think that they were even hiding his name for this long, though? That's the real question. Like, why were they stalling out and waiting so long to even put that information out there? And they're still fronting in a lot of different ways too. But why do you think that is?
Well, we know why it is, but I honestly don't think that that's a question for us to answer. I think that the
Mm.
police department and, the non-black people of the world should answer that question.
So this is a local Memphis ABC 24. 6 Memphis police officer involved in Tyre Nichols' death relieved of duty. And you were saying something real interesting, right? Before we even started the stream, how they keep referring to him as the 6th Memphis police officer. Like what to you, what's the relevance in that? Like to you when you pointed that out to me?
It shows the separation. Like it divides who all got processed and in trouble and talked about by the media first versus this other person. And what's interesting is that the 5 have gotten treated the same. The 6 has been treated different. So it's
Mhm.
almost like it's two unrelated things. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
But it's
mhm,
not. We
mhm.
know that it's not though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's not unrelated at all. Let's see what they're talking about in the article. You know what I'm saying? A six Memphis police officer involved in the arrest, which led to the death of Tyre Nichols on January 7th, has been relieved of his duty. A spokesperson for the department confirmed with ABC 24 Monday. According to Memphis police officer Preston Hemphill, has been relieved of duty during an ongoing investigation. Memphis police told ABC 24 Hemphill was relieved at the beginning of the internal investigation January 8th into the circumstances which eventually led to Nichols' death. Now, once again, like we said earlier, they did a good job hiding him up until now. So they've been knew who he was, and
Yeah.
he's been fired. But it took them this long, right? It took them until the dad of Tyre Nichols said something on Good Morning America for them to finally put that information out, because he's the one that really put that out there. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a white officer involved who was tasing my son up. Like, how come he's not arrested? Like,
Right.
why we y'all focused on the 5 black dudes, and as you should, because they did like the brunt of the damage. But where's the white boy at? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, who is he? You
And
know?
what was up with him in relation to the other officers? Like what was his position? You know what I'm saying? Was he one of their peers? Was he a supervisor? Like why
Mm-hmm.
was he there?
Exactly. What was going on? And you know something that's interesting too, as of right now, currently, right? There's still no official report concerning why they even pulled Tyree over.
Yeah, that's actually been unsubstantiated. They tried to say that it was because of reckless driving, but
Mm-hmm.
then it hasn't been proven that there was any reckless driving involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, none of that has been proven yet. You know what I'm saying? So that's still up in the air, why he was even pulled over in the first place. But
Right.
let's carry on. I digress. We are working to find out why his name was just released Monday. Hemphill was hired in 2018. Memphis police said additional information would be available on their social media platforms once it became available. Attorneys for Nichols' family released the following statement. The news today from Memphis officials that Officer Preston Hemphill was reportedly relieved of duty weeks ago, but not yet terminated or charged, is extremely disappointing. Why is his identity and the role he played in Tyree's death just now coming to light. We have asked from the beginning that the Memphis Police Department be transparent with the family and the community. This news seems to indicate that they haven't risen to the occasion. It certainly begs the question why the white officer involved in this brutal attack was shielded and protected from the public eye. To date, from sufficient discipline and accountability, the Memphis Police Department owes us all answers. And that goes to show you too, when people want to sit here and say, you see, there's a lot of Mzungus getting bent out of shape because folks are still calling this white supremacy. But this goes to show that it still is, because up until now, when it comes to any type of form of police brutality, we've never seen this level of quickness when it came to charging, prosecuting, throwing in jail the cops in question. This happened lightning speed, to which it never happens like that when it's white officers. But now, as this is happening lightning speed for the black officers, you see that they were over here shielding the white officer. You get what I'm saying? So you can't sit up here and tell me, oh, where's the white supremacy involved in it? You're seeing it all. This entire thing is white supremacy.
Right. And that's one of the things that's so interesting about it. We all know that they're not victims of white supremacy. The only thing that they know how to do is practice white supremacy. So this is them exposing themselves. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This is them exposing themselves. They know exactly what's going on. They know that this hasn't been treated the same as any other situation. And they also know that there were other officers involved, because we all saw the same video.
Mm-hmm.
But notice how none of them asked about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They went straight to the brothers, and once again, nobody's released. I hope they get the death penalty, them brothers. They need to, because we all seen the videos and we saw the surveillance footage. Like they had that young brother handcuffed, and they were just passing him around, just rock him, sock him. You get what I'm saying? So they get what they deserve. You get what I'm saying? I'm not giving them no out, but we also not going to look over the fact that y'all out here shielding white officers and making sure that they don't receive the brunt of the public scrutiny that the brothers got. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because wait till I'm gonna keep reading this article, because I did a little pre-reading, and you wait and see what that white officer said, because he was the original one that encountered Tyre and yanked him out of the car, and then everything else got into motion from there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's get back into this article, right? Let me pull this up. So, and I think I'll have us at the bottom too, so y'all can see our faces. Oh man. But protesters had been calling for MPD and city officials to take additional action after the video of the 29-year-old's beating by 5 now former Memphis police officers was released on Friday. Attorney Lee Gerald, representing Hemphill, released the following statement. Okay, so the white officer put a statement out through his lawyer, and he says this: I can confirm that I represent Memphis police officer Preston Hemphill, and was the third officer. Who was the third officer at the initial stop of Mr. Nichols. Video 1 is his body cam footage as per I gotta sneeze. Okay.
Bless you.
Yeah, nothing came out. Yeah. As per departmental regulation, officer Hemphill activated his body cam. Wait, what? As per departmental regulations, Officer Hemphill activated his body cam. He was never present at the second scene. He is cooperating with officials in this investigation. Hemphill was shown on video during MPD's initial confrontation with Nichols, pulling him from the car forcefully while hitting him on the ground with his taser, and later stating, and I quote, okay, let me highlight this. This is what the good white officer said after the fact, right? So he pulls Nichols out the car.
You said the good white officer.
Yeah, the good white This is what the good white officer said. Oh man, once he pulled him out the car. Okay. And he stated this. The good white officer stated, I hope they stomp his ass after Nichols escaped. Did you hear that? The good white officer. So that white officer, he yanked him out of the car, started punching him with the taser, right? And then while he's punching him with the taser, Nichols escapes. And as he escapes and runs off, because I mean, like, this ain't no like traffic stop anymore. You're hitting me with the taser, you're punching me with the taser. Nichols get up out of there, and the good white officer can be heard saying as he's running off, "I hope they stomp his ass."
Right.
And
they did.
They stomp his ass.
And they did.
And they did. They
so
did.
You gotta ask, what he must have seen them behave that way in other situations, because why would that come to mind? I hope they like really like what he did was that upsetting to you that you hope that they stomped him out after you tased him. You know what I mean? Like, you the one tased him. You talking about you hope they stomped him out. He did what everybody else would do. He was getting attacked. He fought back and ran.
Because you wouldn't arrested him. Like, you know, you had him
right.
on the ground and you had the taser. You wouldn't even taser him. You just pop, 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 pop. You just hit it with the taser, like, okay, hold on, bro. You're doing the most. Let me get up out of here.
Right. Yeah. That's
you know
wild,
what I'm saying?
bro.
Like, you're not even arresting me. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not even giving me no commands, like nothing. You just hitting me. Like, okay, bro, what? You know?
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
And what that also highlights too, concerning that Scorpion unit, is that this is protocol. The fact that came out of his mouth, right? I hope they stomp his ass. That's what they do.
That's what they do.
That's what the Scorpion
that's what they
unit
hire for.
does. That's what they're there for. That particular unit, that's what they do. And that's why you saw the Scorpion unit was disbanded immediately once the video. It looked like they probably didn't think about it prior to the video, to the body cam footage coming out, right? But once the body cam footage came out, literally the next day, they disbanded the Scorpion unit. And if everything's all good with the Scorpion unit, right? If it's all gravy and they're doing what they're supposed to do the way they're supposed to do it, why would you disband it? Or at least why would you disband it that quickly, that abruptly, once the body cam footage came out? You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
It shows a pattern of behavior that occurs within that Scorpion unit, right? That's what it shows. So
and
they're
they
trying
had prior
they want to get. You said what?
They had prior complaints. Like, they said that a lot of people in the community is coming forward complaining about the way that they were, how aggressive they were, how they were treating the people in the community. You know what I'm saying? They were just really rough and just inappropriate at times, a lot of times. You know what I mean?
And another thing that's interesting too is that there was a comparison being made in between the Scorpion unit, and I had never heard of this group, which makes sense because I don't live in Atlanta. But Atlanta used to have a tactical unit like the Scorpion unit or whatever, but they were called the Red Dogs. Have you ever heard of that in Atlanta?
You know what? You remember Goody Mob? That
Yes.
1 to the 2, the 3 to 4, them dirty red dogs gonna hit. Well, how did that song go? Remember?
I know what you're talking about. I forgot how it goes. I know
the 3 to 4, them dirty red dogs about to hit the door. They got. I forget how that song go, but you know what I'm talking about. It was on Soul Food.
Yeah. They had a tactical unit called Red Dogs, and they were known for operating in the same way, because these particular units, right, from what I had seen or from what I've read as I've been like trying to keep up with this stuff, like they have a little more room on their leash, right? So they're literally formed for the purposes of being significantly more aggressive. Right?
Here you go, right here.
Standard police, you know what I mean?
They got everybody on their hands and knees, and they ain't gonna leave until they find them keys. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that Goody Mob album was hot, but anyway.
Oh man, but yeah, man, like but going back to it being disbanded that quickly, the moment the body cam footage came out, that's because it's showing a pattern of behavior with that particular unit. You get what I'm saying?
They also probably want to get rid of it so that they can hurry up and get rid of any evidence, because like once something like this comes out, Then they start doing a complete and thorough investigation and start opening up and finding more things and more things and more things. And they probably like, let's just get rid of this and torch everything as fast as we possibly can before we have any more exposure. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, because disbanding it too gives them the opportunity to just like, man, just trash everything, toss everything, just get it out of here. We're done with it. It's done. It's gone. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, because like you say, once the Pandora's box has been open, which it appears it definitely was open with what happened. You know, there now you have a whole nother mess on your hand.
Right.
You know, concerning this stuff, concerning what's going on with that current I keep wanting to say Scorpion King, but with that
with Dwayne Johnson. You know what I'm saying? He sounds like with a name like Dwayne Johnson, he sounds like he'd be like the seventh man.
You know Dwayne Johnson is the seventh. Man, but let's carry on. I think this article is almost finished, right? So let's see what else they're talking about concerning the good white officer, right? Memphis police said it's good, you know? Memphis police said 2 confrontations occurred between Nichols and officers. After he was arrested, Nichols complained of shortness of breath and was taken to the hospital in critical condition. He died 3 days later. Relatives have accused the police of causing Nichols to have a heart attack and kidney failure. Jesus. Authorities have only said that Nichols experienced a medical emergency. According to civil rights attorney Ben Crump, big homie Crump, always at the scene of every the ambulance, with the great ambulance chaser, big homie Crump. You could always count on big homie Crump to show up when somebody died, right? According
to he should be a
superhero
from the MCU, but like he should have like scrubs that fit skin tight, and his superpower is that he can run fast like the Flash and then just like grab onto the ambulance and chase it down. You know what I'm saying? Right. Stop in the name of injustice. It here sound like he got a mouthful of grits too, you know what I'm saying? And just run and chase it down and grab it by the bumper. I'm finna sue all y'all and get a settlement in the name of injustice.
You know and get 50% of all that.
50% of all that, and his symbol would be like the little Black Lives Matter fist. It'll be right here.
It'll be like on his chest.
It'll be on his chest, yeah. And when he run, it like it'll be a horizontal fist, but it's moving like the Black Lives Matter fist, though, like just with the fist behind him going fast.
Oh man, bro. Ben Crump, that man is making some good money out here ambulance chasing, man, the way he do.
Super
that fast. Man is getting a bag out here, man. Like he's the resident go-to guy for like the system. You know what I'm saying? As soon as something happened, Ben Crump's right there to get that settlement.
Fact.
That's nuts. Like that ambulance chasing that he got going on, like Al Sharpton didn't have nothing on Ben Crump.
I'm telling you, that's because Ben Crump is a superhero. He got them mutant powers. Yeah, he got them mutant powers.
That was funny. But so back to the King ambulance chaser. According to civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who was hired by Nichols' family, an independent autopsy found that Nichols had suffered from extensive bleeding caused by a severe beating. Nichols' family said police beat him to the point of being unrecognizable. Five Memphis police officers were fired later and indicted. Yeah. We know all that already. But the important part is that this guy right here, right? The good white officer, Mr. Preston Hemphill, has been identified, after being hidden for all this time. So he's out there now. We'll see what happens, because I mean that's definitely not a good look when you're on camera, on your body camera footage, saying, "I hope they stomp his ass." It's not a good look.
Can you see that face right there? That face look like it's a, "I hope they stomp his ass." I'm gonna go home and eat some Kraft macaroni and cheese and watch Spaceballs. Like seriously, you know what I'm saying? Like that dude, like, could you actually see him running after somebody?
He didn't run after nobody. That's
Of
why
course he didn't.
that's why he sat back and said, I hope they stomp his ass. He was
Big
mad.
hefty self. Yeah.
Because you wouldn't go chase after him.
He looked like one of them people that bring a coffee mug or one of them coffee containers to work that's the size of a small nuclear missile. Have you ever seen have you ever seen those? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you about to load that into a rocket launcher? No, I have my coffee in here for the shift. Like, oh my God.
Oh man, JD Foreman said what he said. Like, no, yeah, he said that, Jay. He said on the body cam footage, because he was the one that initially pulled Tyree out the car and started punching him with the taser, and then Tyree got away from him. And because you see, he's a pretty hefty gentleman, he wasn't chasing after Tyree. You know what I mean?
He probably was all bruised up. He was probably bruised up too, black and blue. I bet you if they showed a body camera, a front facing body camera of him running, man, I bet you his titties was hitting him all in his face, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know what I'm saying? One chest would go up like that, the other one would go up like that. I bet you he was mad as hell by the time they got finished chasing. He probably had his hands on his hips, breathing hard as hell, talking about
yeah.
I hope they kick his ass.
Like, that was literally what he said. I hope they stomp his ass.
Terrible, man.
and then went right back to his the coffee mug that looked like a missile.
Yeah, big fat bloated jerk. Terrible, man.